Yeah, I think I mean we've talked maybe a little bit offline about how this story has a lot of dichotomies, and yeah, I think one of those is the magic versus the Christian law, the sort of old, you know, dreamlike, or I don't know, more flowing kind of pagan world or something, and the modern, more modern kind of Christian sort of law-based institutions kind of world.
Yeah, yeah, I think I looked up the name Veri because I was curious if it, was meant to mean anything. And it's, I mean, these tales were collected in Germany supposedly, so I don't want to make too many big assumptions, but the only name meaning I could find for Veri was Finnish. And the name Veri means blood in Finnish.
Mm,
At least according to internet name etymology websites. I'm no expert here. I just did a little bit of Googling,
mm,
but that would kind of match in with it being, him having some sort of tie to the blood of the land, the ancestral blood, the older ways of being. He's singing songs about the underworld. He's crazy. He's always daydreaming. He's never quite present. Um, which, I think when I imagine back to the days of pagan times, there is always this sense of the world being more porous and more dreamlike and more sort of the spirit world is more closely entwined with ours and it's not quite so differentiated. It just feels more kind of alive, but also less specific.
mm,
And I think, yeah, I think that's definitely a dichotomy we see here um, with Fairy and Mayala.
mm.
Mayala. I'm going to keep getting that wrong, but
Yeah,
people
I've
know
had to
who I mean.
practice so many times with that one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know. What did you think about that? Well, I guess I have something to say first. Just to not sort of lure you into saying something without putting my cards on the table first. That
Mm,
you know, I'm raised Christian. I definitely appreciate the Christian teachings and well, I was raised Catholic, but I appreciate the Christian teachings. Um, and I think there's a lot to them, but I struggle with how to relate the teachings of Christ and the sort of unfolding of what he brought with the fact that it seems to always suppress something that had naturally grown indigenously to a certain landscape or within a certain people. I would imagine that, if I were in my hubris and arrogance, if I were to design how religion should work for humanity, I would want the higher level to come in and incorporate the lower level and have it feel welcomed and safe,
mm.
rather than this sort of like one against the other. One must, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to look at that and such, but I have a romantic longing for the old days, the times of when the spirit world was closer and the realms were more porous. That I have a joy in my heart when I think about that. I'm sure the reality of it, were it to come about, would be a bit less than my romantic imaginings, but still, I think there's something lost. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have more of that kind of longing, but I still have it with me now. Um, and I think I don't know there's different ways to to talk about it, or to incorporate or to bring to balance it out in one direction or the other. And you just said it in speech and just as a longing, but I mean people can give more of a lecture type of thing about that, or they can do it in literature. This is a folk tale that was written down as literature. There's rituals that we can do. There's all sorts of things that we can do that I think maybe I don't know. Yeah, are in words or images or bodily actions like with rituals that can sort of bring some of that oldness back.